国家民主基金会炮制发布的所谓报告。
The U.S. needs to immediately stop its military threat and any form of blockade against Cuba. China will continue its firm support to Cuba in safeguarding national sovereignty and opposing external interference. The government of Papua New Guinea decides to close the Taipei Economic Office in Papua New Guinea. China highly commends the decision. The National Endowment for Democracy's so-called report is riddled with lies, fallacies, and disinformation deliberately aimed to spread the false narrative of authoritarian expansion, smear China's foreign exchanges and international cooperation, and propagate the false China threat. It is ill-intended and malignant. China firmly opposes it. For years and years, the National Endowment for Democracy has been interfering in other countries' internal affairs, committing subversion, stoking division and confrontation, manipulating and misleading public opinion, conducting ideological infiltration under the pretext of promoting democracy. It has brought profound damage, grown utterly discredited and notorious, and long been a disgrace in the international community. China stays committed to developing friendly cooperation with all countries on the basis of the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence to share development opportunities, uphold international fairness and justice, and is regarded as a builder of world peace, contributor to global development, and defender of international order. We urge relevant U.S. institutions and individuals to form a right perception of China, abandon prejudice and arrogance, stop political manipulation, and care more about the affairs of its own country. The so-called tribute system is a false image projected by the Western hegemonic logic onto Chinese diplomacy. The narrative fails to see the values of harmony and diversity that have defined and shaped the Chinese civilization for thousands of years, and misrepresents the principle of equality, which is at the core of China's diplomacy since 1949. The narrative is a serious departure from the basic norms of international relations and the opposite of the reality of China's interaction and cooperation with Asia and the rest of the world. China never subscribes to the logic that a great power is bound to seek supremacy. China never pursues hegemony that aims to deter, but a world that lives in harmony and solidarity. All countries, regardless of their size, are equal, and the right approach to get along with each other is mutual success, not one-way dependence. China's diplomacy is anchored in mutual respect, fairness and justice, and win-win cooperation. We work to defend true multilateralism and build a community with a shared future for humanity. We noted relevant reports. The use or threat of force in international relations seriously violates the UN Charter and endangers global and regional peace and security. China firmly opposes it. The UN General Assembly's overwhelming vote to proceed with the debate on the necessity of ending the economic, commercial, and financial embargo imposed by the United States against Cuba reflects the extensive international support to Cuba and the just call for ending the blockade. The U.S. needs to immediately stop its military threat and any form of blockade against Cuba. China will continue its firm support to Cuba in safeguarding national sovereignty and opposing external interference. The government of Papua New Guinea decides to close the Taipei Economic Office in Papua New Guinea. China highly commends the decision, and it demonstrates once again that upholding the One China principle is where international public opinion trends and the arc of history bends. China stands ready to continue working together with Papua New Guinea to support each other on issues concerning respective core interests and advance our comprehensive strategic partnership. Regarding your first question, according to our information, a Czech national has recently been placed under investigation by China's state security authorities in accordance with the law on suspicion of endangering China's national security. The case is currently under further investigation, and the individual's lawful rights have been fully protected. Regarding your second question, I would like to point out that the relevant Czech authorities have detained a Chinese journalist in the Czech Republic on baseless charges. China firmly opposes this. We urge the Czech side to immediately release the individual concerned and effectively safeguard his lawful rights and interests. China opposes drawing lines along ideological difference, and conducting technological blockade. China stays committed to coordinating both development and security and is ready to share experiences with all to elevate the level of AI innovation worldwide. Tomorrow, the 2026 World AI Conference and high-level meeting on global AI governance will kick off in Shanghai. China will use the occasion to have candid exchanges with all parties, build consensus, and ensure that developing countries have greater access to the dividend of the intelligence age, and that technological advancement can truly lead to progress and prosperity of human society.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.